What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Scriptly Adapted Uncut. I'm Kyote.
And I'm Kate. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back, guys. So, if you haven't seen the commercials yet or heard the hype for Jordan Peele's new movie Us, then you've been living under a tunnel. You get the joke, Kate?
That was really bad.
Well, you'll get it if
I can't even say that was clever, babe.
That was clever.
It wasn't under a rock, not under a tunnel.
The tunnel has to do with the movie, Kate.
I know, I get it. I'm with you, but it's in a tunnel, not under a tunnel. You can't be under a tunnel. A tunnel's already underground.
Okay, so Kate just single-handedly ruined my entire.
But guys, you get where I'm going with this, right?
Anywho,
I'm just saying.
We had a great, I guess you would say, a decent experience watching this movie. I must say, it. I have a lot of things going on.
Apparently, it just overwhelmed him so
much. My
much.
brain still hurts from watching the movie. Not in a bad way, and not in a great way either. It's sort of like right in the middle. Lots of stuff was going on in this movie, Kate. Lots of stuff. We had the pleasure of seeing Jordan's creativity as far as storytelling is concerned. We got to see his ever developing art of technical aspects of film, which I think it's coming along nicely. So let me throw this to you. Do you think this film lived up to the hype?
Not at all.
Oh.
It was a great film. I liked Get Out. I think, and I was saying this to Coyote, is that, it's hard because you start with such a great film like Get Out, and obviously every movie's going to be different. Every director, even though they have their trademark style or thing going on, not every movie's the same, as it shouldn't be. But I think when you hit the ball out of the park like you did with a movie like Get Out, people automatically, unfairly sometimes, expect the same from you every single film. And I don't even think he was going for that. I think he had, and by the way, guys, this show will have spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. This will be a spoiler alert.
But, I think he genuinely did a great job, but I think it could have been a little bit more cohesive, I want to say. Like, I think, the characters are great, the acting was great, but it was so complicated for no reason. I was like, Jordan, my man, what are you doing? I don't know. And I said to Coyote also too, maybe everyone, when you go see one of his films, his goal is not for you to figure it out right away. How many times did you lean over to me trying, whispering your next idea on what it could possibly be?
Kate, listen, I leaned over. Listen, I was so busy trying to understand what the hell was happening.
This is true.
And try to decode everything from the rabbits to the T-shirt the little girl was wearing to posters. I thought everything had something to do with what we were about to see.
But in Jordan Peele's films, it does. But the one thing that went over my head was the damn rabbits. I mean, I know they were eating them, which we'll get into in a second.
That's a big spoiler.
But that's about it. I don't what else were the rabbits for? I don't get it.
Well, the rabbits, I don't know. Listen, guys, I'm not saying Us was a terrible movie by no means. Was it a terrible movie?
No, not at all.
It was just one of those films where it's like they say, it's honestly something you may have to watch again.
You definitely should.
But I don't have a desire to watch it again.
I do not either.
It wasn't even because it was a bad movie. I think it was just one of those things where I was just kind of exhausted mentally. I was exhausted mentally.
Well, yeah, because you spent most of your time trying to figure it out. I didn't want to do that. I think I just was trying to watch the movie in the purest sense and trying to understand it, as it unraveled itself and unfolded itself. But let's get into the acting a little bit. So You have the main character, Adelaide Wilson / Red, which, before we do that, let's get into the plot. Basically, this film is about people who live above ground, which is us humans, right? And then you have the tethered, which is a group of, I guess you call them people, not quite sure. Basically like our shadows that live underground. mimicking everything that we do. And so they basically want to have the kind of life that we want, that we're having. So you have the main character, Adelaide Wilson, who also plays Red, who is her alter ego, basically. And this is played by Lupita Nyong'o, Oscar-winning Lupita Nyong'o. She was fantastic. Now, some people have said this is the best acting of her career. I don't agree with that. I haven't seen 12 Years a Slave yet. I know, shocker.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
7 years later, but whatever. But
7 years?
Yeah, 2012 it came out.
She won that Oscar 7 years ago?
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
Yeah. But
shocking.
She was fantastic. She just really 2013. Okay. She really, really embraced this role. I think she was also almost better as Red than she was as Adelaide. What do you think?
I agree. But there were two different characters, right?
Yeah, but Adelaide was a little there was no. Well, I mean, I guess this makes sense now that and I didn't even realize this. As you find, I really don't want to spoil the main twist at the end of the film, but
Kate does an evil laugh while she spoils it. That's Kate's laugh as she spoils.
I wish you could see me with the evil fingers, but unfortunately we're doing audio here. Anyway, but even though she's not the real Adelaide, and we'll leave it at that, maybe it makes sense that her character was very surface. There was no depth to her. If you think about it, Red was a little bit more animated. She was also a little more intelligent. She was a little bit more in control. Let me tell you something. When I saw the four of them standing at the edge of the driveway and she went and they dispersed, the whole audience was like, "Oh no, hell no!"
But do you think she was like that because guys? This is major spoilers, right?
Just say it.
I don't know how many times I have to say it.
Oh boy.
So here's a little spoiler alert for you guys. Do you think the reason why we got more from the tethered Red is because she is the real person? Like, she is that little girl that got kidnapped? Like, she is the real person who's a human who grew up here and had emotions and talked? And do you think that's why, obviously?
No, I don't.
Versus the one who kind of switched places with her, who was supposed to be Adelaide. Guys, this makes no sense to you, probably.
No.
If you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it. But
it'll all come together. The thing is, this is a very complex character, and we'll just leave it at that. And I think, we could sit here for days analyzing each character specifically. But ultimately, I think she did a great job encompassing both. Her facial expressions were fantastic. She really enveloped the character. Like I said, preferred her as Red. I think she did a better job. And it was great. Now, you had Winston Duke, who, ironically enough, co-starred with Lupita Nyong'o in Black Panther. He also studied at Yale School of Drama with her. Mm-hmm. And so this is their second film together, I believe. I get you have to have some comic relief, and he was funny at times, but he was just so corny. I just wanted to bitch slap him a few times.
Yeah, I gotta say,
you suck.
No, I mean, I didn't think he sucked.
Well, damn.
But that was the only soundbite I could find.
You suck.
That was the only soundbite.
How many more times are we gonna do this?
I thought he was. I don't know. I didn't like. Listen, I understand he's a very articulate, intelligent man, but I don't know. I couldn't stand his voice. I couldn't stand the way he was speaking. And
it wasn't.
His comic relief wasn't funny, and
he was a punk. I needed
bitchy.
him.
I was like, dude, you're 6'9".
I know.
250.
Huge.
What are you doing?
How are you gonna go out there and let the man run all over you? I mean, I don't know. It was just weird to me. Every time you turned around, he was getting beat up. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I listen.
Even your son is your wimpy ass 9-year-old son is more strong.
Yeah, he killed someone. I think the son. So I mean, listen. Overall, was it? Man, I have never been so
He obsessed
torn.
about this. All I've heard from last night to this morning, the first thing he said to me when I came in the house after the gym was, I sent you a video about how to dissect this movie. I was like, seriously? It's like
Because the ending has
7:30.
the ending, there's a slight twist. And
It wasn't that big of a twist.
You just, I mean, you take it from there. But was the movie overall, did it satisfy? It didn't satisfy me.
No, I agree.
Right?
I think that's an excellent statement. I agree with that wholeheartedly. It did not satisfy me either.
It didn't satisfy me. It wasn't. It wasn't scary. So, but I don't think it was supposed to be. I don't think it's supposed to be that scary. I don't know. I just got some really mixed emotions from it. I feel like when you go for so much in a film where you're trying to put in a whole lot of like, I don't know, little Easter eggs here and there of narrative and the meaning of this and stuff like that, you can lose an audience, especially an audience who don't think that deeply into film.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
I've said this multiple times. The thing is that Jordan Peele, you can't assume that he wants people to get it right away. I think where he derives pleasure in it is that it makes you mad when you're watching it. Not angry mad, but insane. And it's not until afterwards where you're like dissecting it and having intense conversations, because if you read, excuse me guys, peppermint tea got me all jacked up. If you read some of Jordan Peele's interviews, he said that he wants people to start having conversations. He wants to make movies that foster conversations about issues in our culture, in our society, in our world, in our country. And I think this particular movie apparently was based on the duality in the US about us, but also living here and not being open to people who are different than us. And I think that has a lot to say about the tethered as well as us as people.
But yeah, I get that. And I understand that. I appreciate it to some extent. But at the same time, you need to give me something where this stuff makes sense. Like, well, listen, you can whatever me all you want, right?
You only get to play with the big buttons?
But I just don't get that. Where did the rabbits come from, right?
The rabbits confuse the hell out of me,
Where did they get red
it.
jumpsuits and shiny scissors from?
Yeah,
right? If they were down there.
Oh, well, they did say the one glove, like in the thing you sent me, they said the one glove also pays homage to Michael Jackson too. Because Michael Jackson was a symbol of duality. So
because he was two different people on stage and in
personal
life, right?
Exactly. So I think that's what the Thriller shirt came from, and also the single glove. Okay. To him.
Who in the hell would have gotten that, Kate? Right. So like that, but I get it. Listen, film is awesome. This is what makes the medium so great, is that you can make a film about whatever your heart desires, right? Something deep or something very surface and simple, but awesome. Mm-hmm. And people will talk about it. And this is exactly what he made. We are talking about it. Mm-hmm. My only thing is I'm talking about it, but I'm trying to understand if I even liked what you did for me to talk about it. So that's where I'm stuck. Like, did I enjoy what you were doing for me to talk about it? I think he took a medium of horror, and I think he took that medium to make it known that what we're dealing with here is horror. It's a live action horror movie that we are living in the U.S. From not allowing others to enter our countries, to being so separatist that we are scared of those who are different from us. I get all that, and see, I'm talking about it, and I get it. I just don't know if I liked it in this. I don't know.
You mean you would have appreciated it if he had done it a different way?
In a different way, maybe.
Without so many rabbits.
But I enjoyed that. But I did get the fact that it was doing it in a horror genre would make it more realistic to say that this is how the U.S. is looked at. This is what we do here. Like, it's like I mentioned before, like a live action horror movie. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
So I just did some research while you were lambasting poor Jordan Peele. And apparently Rabbits are a recurring motif throughout Us, and they're strongly associated with the tethered. They're kept in underground cages by the tethered and seem to be the only thing the tethered get to eat. Peele personally finds rabbits scary and insane, despite having had a pet rabbit as a child, so that's certainly part of it. But beyond that, the rabbits are associated with several things. Adelaide goes down an almost literal rabbit hole when she enters the tunnels to find her son, but a metaphorical one as well when she learns more about the tethered. Then there's the idea of rabbits as lab animals, not unlike the way the tethered are treated, or the superstition that their feet are lucky, leading lots of humans to carry around rabbits' feet without considering what might have happened to the rest of the rabbit. Now, that's very interesting because I don't know if you noticed, but throughout the film, they did a lot of close-ups of their feet, especially the tethered. And they did a close-up of her feet, Adelaide's feet, when she was going into the classroom to fight her. They did a lot of close-ups of feet, especially of her.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Ow.
Oh, sorry, that was the wrong
ow,
one.
not wow.
That was the wrong one. Sorry, guys. I'm still
so
getting used to it.
also worth pointing out is that rabbits are portrayed in many cultures, including the U.S., as tricksters who defy rules and conventions, surviving and overcoming negative situations throughout their wits.
Who knew this?
Like, the tethered can probably relate. Well,
did Jordan Peele?
Rabbits, really?
Did Jordan Peele actually Google and find all this information and say, "Hey, I wanted exactly the like"? Who thinks of small shit like that? Like, that just bothers me.
My thing is, you know what I said? Don't you have a newborn, Jordan? Like, what are you doing?
Listen,
like, what are you thinking about while you're holding your newborn? I don't understand.
My
Poor
God.
Chelsea.
Like,
Poor
I just
Chelsea,
don't.
Baby, reach out to me. I'll come get you, girl.
Stuff like that is amazing. But I think I second guess if that's something he actually thought of, or was it just by coincidence? Like, oh, what was that?
I don't know. The movie was crazy. I thought it was appropriate.
Well, listen, it was a crazy movie.
It was good, though. Oh, and can I just talk real quick? Okay. Through all these podcasts and our film review shows, you guys know how I feel about putting A-list actors in B-list roles.
Like who?
Why on earth did they put Elizabeth Moss in the character of this woman? I just don't understand.
Is she in, that's the girl from Handmaid's Tale. Oh, wow.
Like, what is the point in that? I don't understand. She had maybe 25 minutes on screen.
Listen, Kate,
Come on, man. Who
two
cares
things.
about her like that?
Jordan Peele is on a high. He just won an Oscar. His first movie made hundreds of millions of dollars. Plus, you want that check. So, I mean, are you going to say no to all three of those things?
Speaking of which, this was the highest grossing horror film. It's like
not of all time.
No, obviously, but like in a while.
Maybe a while, but I don't
70 million.
Maybe a while, but not in a very, like, I think there was other films, obviously, that kind of made more than that.
That's not what I saw.
So, definitely. I mean, guys, listen, definitely see it. You have to.
It was good.
You will make your own judgments. I just found it to be a tad bit slightly pretentious.
I didn't get pretentious at all. I don't know where you get
slightly pretentious and a bit confusing, but highly enjoyable when it comes to the suspense of trying to figure out this puzzle that this movie was. Technically, great, very well done. Score was decent. I didn't love the score.
The operatic score is one of his themes.
I didn't love the score.
It wasn't bad.
I thought it was good. It kept me engaged, and if you know me, a good score can keep me engaged if a film is not that great.
I loved the opening score. I loved it.
I thought it was okay.
Very, very interesting with the opening credits.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. It reminded me of like a Spike Lee's opening of like a jazz symphony, sort of thing. Like how sometimes Spike's movies have a lot of jazz influence into it.
Okay.
It reminded me of that, like how Jordan's starting to come out with these, like, what would you call a song like that? Like, what would you say?
What do you mean? It was kind of like operatic.
Like an opera. Okay, yeah, like an operatic song to open up his film. So I mean, I don't know. Was it an epic fail? Absolutely not.
I don't think it's that serious. No.
Absolutely not. Was it a fail?
Fail.
No, definitely not a fail. But what I would say, maybe it was just
okay.
That's it. Like I would just say
okay.
We got the point.
Just okay.
All right.
just okay. Like it was okay. Like
it was good, guys. Listen, I there were great parts about it. It definitely was not as scary as the trailer led you to believe it was. I enjoyed the performances. I thought the music was good. I thought the cinematography was good, especially the shot of them going across the beach with the shadows, which obviously now looking at it, we're like, oh, we get it. But
okay, do you think?
I think overall it was a little too deep for the average moviegoer. I think you're right.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, do you think? Okay, first off, who created the tethered? They kept mentioning God. There was a lot of like God, like who was the tethered supposed to be another part of your personality or who you?
Well, they reference it first and foremost as a shadow. So I think it's something that I think. Okay, this might be a little deep here, but this is what I got from it. Aside from the whole United States foreigner thing, that didn't really stick with me. But what got me was that if we're talking about duality and we're talking about good versus evil, then we're also talking about things that we are tied to. And I think we're tied to certain experiences, we're tied to certain decisions that make us who we are. And I think one of those decisions for Adelaide being that, she switched places, ultimately. Spoiler, major. Anyway.
OMG.
That was a spoiler.
That was really good. But anyway, I think that's ultimately, and I think the naming them the tethered is brilliant. And I think Jordan Peele's a genius for that because I think it shows how, as much as we want to cut ourselves free, we have things that are part of us that we're not going to necessarily feed. And I think, it really depends on what part of our personality or what things inside us we feed and we want to be real.
So are they taking over?
You know what I just said was really deep.
I know that. Listen, that was deep. I got it.
Where were you with me on that?
Okay, I'm still trying to cipher the first 10
He's still
minutes.
watching the film in his brain.
I'm trying to understand what happened in the first 10 minutes. Listen, there's a lot of stuff going on in this film, guys.
Mm-hmm.
It is a minefield of different stuff happening, right? Where one thing happens, gives you a clue, but then you take that clue back because maybe that isn't it. You still don't get major answers. You're not satisfied with some of the answers. We have to go on YouTube.
What?
Yeah, we have to go on YouTube and Google what happened. Like what did they mean by this? Like what is going on?
You did it again.
It just wasn't scary. I was hoping for a little more scary.
It's not horror. I never got horror from it. I was
hoping for more horror.
Nah, that's not Jordan's style. I think he's more suspense.
Jordan can do horror. He can,
but I don't think he does.
Well, he called this a horror film.
I don't think he said. Horror. I think Get Out was more horror than this was. No,
he said Get Out was by more of a documentary. This was a horror.
Jordan Peele is insane.
I love him. I would love to.
Crazy!
That's exactly what. Listen, I would love to intern for Jordan Peele if you ever listen to the show, Jordan.
Hashtag
Jordan, because we could think of some great things together. But overall, guys, I as a letter grade, I give it a B.
And you want to intern for the man?
I give it a B. Listen, I'm just he could take honesty.
I'm
giving it a B for technical aspects, which I liked. Some of the score. And I appreciate the cultural references to the linking of the hands, which you'll see in the film, and how scary that possibly is.
That's really creepy.
And for what he was trying to go for as far as duality and not being afraid of who we are.
I think that's the ultimate message. I think that's the ultimate message. Even more so, like I said, than the living in this country and doing other stuff. But I think it's honestly about being tied to different parts of ourselves. And it's really, what are we, because at the end, when she kills her alter ego, spoiler alert again, guys, sorry. She makes this guttural noise and you're thinking that, you're still like, oh, it didn't cause alarms in your brain because you're like, okay, she's still human. But it was very, very clever because it was almost like she really wasn't. She was the tethered, but it hadn't been revealed to us yet. So you're still like, oh, she's still a human, but she's making these guttural noises, which gives you representation that inside of her, she is no better than her alter ego. She still has it in her, which I think was very, very, very interesting the way that he did that. Because, like I said, the twist had not been revealed yet. So you still think that she's the regular Adelaide, but she's not. But she could have been, knowing that it's still in her. So I think that was a very interesting foil that he did.
So what letter grade would you give it?
I would definitely give it a B+.
Oh, B+.
Yeah.
For what?
I think for the score, I love the score. I think the acting was very good. I think the overall premise was very interesting. It was unique. It was very unique and it was very creative.
Unique and creative.
And I will give him that.
Just a little bit too unique.
It was a little all over the place. Jordan, I'm going to need your third one to be
unique.
To calm down a little.
Make it maybe like a comedy. This one.
I can't see Jordan go. Well, of course he can go into comedy, but I mean, I think Jordan Peele wanted to separate himself from comedy for a little while because, he wanted to try something different. Who knows? He might love horror and this is his thing, but, I think it was good. I did appreciate it and I did like it. Now, it doesn't hold a candle to Get Out, but they're both different films with different messages.
Very different. Like I said,
I'm intrigued to see what idea he comes up with next.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. I'm just a little exhausted. I give it a solid B. Kate gives it a B+. Mostly for technical like acting and score and editing and all that stuff. And because it was creative and it was different and it had you thinking, it has us doing a damn podcast about it. So we are thinking about it. Mm-hmm. So we are talking about it. So he did reach one of his goals as far as that film is that part of it is concerned. It was deep. It was deep. He's a very smart guy who is going to, like he said, make everyone discuss and talk and dissect and talk about his films in the long run. So overall, not bad, Jordan. No Get Out.
How are you going to give the man a B?
A B is good.
Give him fanfare.
A B is good. A B is good.
I'm just saying.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Scriptly Adapted Uncut. Once again, check all of our social medias on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Keep looking out for all those shows, Blaxploit, Chick Flick, and of course this one, Scriptly Adapted Uncut. Kate, you got anything to say?
Goodbye.
Well, she said it, guys. Have a good night. Check us out for our next show coming soon.